because oh shoot. Hold on one sec.
Just tell me when we're live on the
Yeah,
radio.
I'll tell you when we're live on the radio. I have to remove and add these back in. Okay, and I know that we're live out there. Okay, let me edit here. We're going to add there. We're going to add your listen live, and we're going to add the radio. Okay, I think we're good. Hold on one sec. Save changes. Okay. Yeah, we're live on Facebook. Here, let's go here. Okay, we're live on the radio.
You're listening to WKDW Radio 97.5 and KDWRadio.com, broadcasting from the Bishop West Real Estate Mobile Tower right here in gorgeous Northport, Florida. Well, I just have to introduce my show a different way. 2022 has started out with a rocky road. We had just a couple technical difficulties, but we have worked them out. So I'm sorry about the delay on getting on the air. But the good news is we're only about 11 minutes late. And I always plan ahead, but not for these events because technical difficulties are sometimes not your friend. Today, I've got a very special guest in the house. One, my technical difficulty person at the radio station who does a fantastic job, Marie. And I'll let her introduce herself.
Okay, hi everybody, and it is my fault that John had a technical difficulty. It's normally never on my end; it's normally on everybody else's. But my my mic wasn't coming through to his end. I apologize for that. S happens at times, so you just
does.
It really does. Well, my name is Marie LaBrosse, and I am a show host also at WKDW 97.5 FM, Rural Community Radio. I'm also on the board of directors there, and I'm also on the board of directors and vice president of the Northport Arts Center. And I'm chair of an event that we're going to be talking about on John's show called Kaleidoscope of the Arts, an intoxicating evening of discovery into the arts of Northport. Thank you, John, for having me on your show today. And, I think it's a good time to talk about the Buckeye State because you were up in the frigid tundra. Was it very cold while you were up north?
It was a little chilly up there. It wasn't too bad. I spent a couple weeks in Ohio up in the Cuyahoga Falls area. I went in through the Newark Zanesville area and on up to Cuyahoga Falls and then on up into the Madison area where we rented a cabin for the family and we all got together and had a wonderful Christmas and got to be together and do a lot of FaceTiming with other family members. It was quite fun, and Ellie, being 3 years old, was entertaining the whole time, and with Evie T being 1 year, about 15 months, she was entertaining herself. We had a blast with them. Everybody had a good time, and then we came back and ended up with a wonderful Rose Bowl victory for the Northport Buckeyes organization and the Ohio State University. It was fantastic. What a comeback. And I got to give kudos to Utah, who I love their coach to begin with, loved him for years. 17 years with one organization. That'll show his commitment because he is a true coach. He took 3 and 4 star, some 2-star players and brought them into that Rose Bowl game and were kicking us around pretty good throughout the whole game. And I'll send out some thoughts and prayers to their quarterback. Hopefully he gets well. I know he got knocked out with about 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So we hope that he does well. And we did have a lot of quiet time with 10 minutes left in that wonderful game that we came back from. But none of us as the Buckeye organization like to see any players go down, especially when they have to leave the game for good. So hopefully Mr. Reesing is going to make a full recovery and come back as a quarterback, because he looked like NFL quality to me on that game. So, but
Did he get literally knocked out, John?
His coach came on and said that when he approached him, he was not unconscious, but I'll promise you he was. That I've seen that plenty of times, and he was not moving. He was still as can be, and it was definitely a knockout. He just got trapped kind of the wrong way. He's kind of you've heard the word defenseless player all year long for the last couple of years. He was a defenseless player all by himself, just based on the tackle. It wasn't the hit; it was the helmet to the ground that caused the knockout. So it was, and he got hit more to the side, so he got jarred really good on the side of the helmet, and it did knock him unconscious. So I just hope he does well. They did take his helmet. Anytime you see a player, for you non-football fans out there, anytime that a player goes to the sidelines or to the tent on the sidelines and they do not come out carrying their helmet, they're not going back in the game. So concussion protocols have really stepped up and made the game a lot safer. Back in the day, I was an orthopedic sales rep, and I did a lot of product introducing to NFL retirees. And I went to the NFL retirement meeting that they held in Naples. There are a lot of guys out there. Yep, we cherish their play on the field, but a lot of them we don't see later in life, and that's because they're not doing well. Their bodies and their minds take a lot of punishment. They are trying to clean that aspect of the game up, and hence that's why we've had a lot of players either commit suicide or worse. Take family members with them. So it's the trauma that's caused. They're digging in. I just hope that everything works out for this kid, and I shouldn't say kid. I should say young man, but. It's never fun to watch a player go down, and whether we won or lost that game, he earned a ton of respect throughout the NCAA itself, and I don't like to see it. I'm glad he's going to be okay. According to his coach, there was no lingering effect quickly after that game, so that's a good indication too that everything is going to work out well. But I'm sure that he's going to be monitored for a week or so.
Yeah, John, I'm glad that you brought up the CTE, because it's not only just in that sport, in football, that people, can you imagine boxing or even wrestling, getting body slammed, your head hitting it? And I know of suicide's really prevalent with people that have had injuries like that, not only in the sports industry. I do know of a case locally that somebody fell and hit their head on a granite countertop and ended up committing suicide later because it messed up with their brain and stuff. Before that, they were just fine. So
Right.
And that brings up a good point. If you see anybody that's in your circle that is acting differently, and has experienced something like that, they need help, and they aren't able to tell that is what caused it until after death when they do an autopsy.
That is true.
They'll be able to define that. So, and locally in Northport, they have Holly's Hope, and some of those people know about that. So if you need to reach out for any kind of help, check with Holly's Hope. So I'm glad that you brought that up, John. I really am. I wasn't aware of that happening because I don't watch college.
Well, here's the thing. I'm just an avid fan of sports in general, but I really love college sports, and there are people out there that want to see people get hurt so we win the game. I'm not that guy. I really don't want to see anybody get hurt. I'd love to win the game, but anytime a player goes down, I don't care what caliber player is. If they're out on the field, I just appreciate the sport. I want them all to do well. I may not like the opposing team, and that's our job, but we don't have to be poor sports about it. I think we all have to take into consideration that we're kind of blessed where we're at in life right now. And if you see somebody that's not, find a way to give some blessing. That's all. I think anytime that you can step up in your community and be active, and it's sort of like the program that you guys are talking about doing, and we're going to get into that more. But I think it's a good turn into what you guys are doing, because you're with the arts. The arts have been affected by COVID, and we're not talking just here. We're talking nationally, internationally. The arts have taken a huge hit, and New York, all those places are completely changed now, and will be for a long time, because things have happened within our country and internationally that have dictated some change. But I think we all need to regroup and not forget where we've been, but maybe rebuild what we had, and start thinking forward instead of backwards. I'm always about moving things in a positive direction, and that's what the arts does. The arts actually turns a corner and brings people together. It really is a healing process for a lot of people. The Northport Art Center does a lot of that, and they work really hard at trying to be inclusive to everybody out there, and really change a lot of lives. Can you talk a little bit about what you guys do and what the arts does to draw people together, and really even take some of that suicidal type personalities and kind of mold them back into, hey, you do have a group of people that care?
Well, absolutely. And thank you for bringing that up. One of the things with our event is we're doing a collaboration with all the arts that uh, are involved, the nonprofits and the for profits, different organizations. But the reason why we're doing that is because everybody has been struggling. I know how to do fundraisers myself, and then along with the art, Northport Art Area Guild. It's actually Northport um, Area Art Guild. It's real 501c3 name is, and it was developed 35 years ago and was for all the arts within the compounds compounds of the city of Northport. As the Northport area has grown, and there's a lot of history that why the Northport Performing Art Association went off on its own, performing at the high school. And you can listen to that on my other show. I did a series with Joan Morgan of 13 episodes of the history of the city of Northport. But talking about that, there's one of the things that they do is a Saturday free program for those kids that aren't able to get access to free art or to the art programs within the school. So Saturday mornings, the Northport Arts Center does have free art availability for children, and I think it's at 10 o'clock. I can bring it up on the screen for people, and you can always call the Northport Art Center for that information. Also, the art of war. Philip Moore is a three-time Iraq veteran, and he's involved with the Northport Art Center, and he took his trauma and actually developed this program. So anybody that was in the military, um, in any way, especially if they're suffering from PTSD, there is
Yep.
a scholarship program now at the Northport Art Center that they can have art classes for free. And doing that, they have to apply, of course. But this is something that he had taken. And here's the other thing: Philip is colorblind. He made it in the service because he's a colorblind that he can distinguish on a map the different shades, evidently, of things. So he was able to be in the military. However, he sees colors different than us. So he did paintings from pictures that he had taken over in Iraq. And he did a calendar, and you can go to the Northport Arts Center. I'll be bringing them up on the screen in a few minutes, and go there and purchase the Art of War calendar. And any of the profits from that calendar sale goes to the scholarship program. But that's a way of him giving back. In fact, coming up this month, his photos will be on exhibit at City Hall, the City of Northport City Hall. So you'll be able to go
Fantastic.
into the City Hall to see that. They also have arts in public places where there's art all around the area. And they have free classes that they offer once in a while. In fact, one's coming up with one of the mural artists, plus she's a other type of an artist, a visual art, very well known in the area, Laura Palmiere. And if you go to the Northport Arts Center's website, I think it's listed there. I know it came out in the newsletter that she's doing a free class, and it can be virtual or in person. And it's I think it's on the 5th. I think it's coming up on the 5th. So there's a lot of ways that people heal through art, John. And a lot of times, with trauma, and I'm looking at your background picture, and everybody don't look at mine because I'm in my laundry room and there's laying tile and they had to move a bunch of stuff in here. But anyhow, everything we do, even with what we're seeing up on the screen or our background and that, this is art. Art's all around us. If you look at anything, your computer, the microphone I have here, the lamp and that's all that's a form of art. People have to develop that. They look at it, they develop it. Performing art, there's all different kinds. Culinary art. If you're cooking, that's culinary art. My cooking is not culinary art. It is not a form of art. I don't like cooking. So, for different things, but literary art, anything that you're reading, or even when you put together, if you read a book, that's a literary art. If somebody puts together and crafts together a letter, that's a form of art. So everything we do, John, is art.
Absolutely, and I'm gonna hit the food thing real quick because I'm built for food. But we met our friends from Ohio who drove up from Fort Myers yesterday. We met them at TT's, and I love going there. They've got great food, great atmosphere, along with a wonderful sunset on the water. And so we knew ahead of time exactly what our friends were in for. But you talk about putting a smile on your face. I ordered the tropical bowl, and they had the flour in the bowl. It was just laid out, and I took a picture of my tropical bowl and Carrie's tacos, and I sent them out to our kids, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, it looks wonderful!" It's amazing that they did something in the kitchen that they presented to us, and it still put smiles on people's faces in Ohio. So there is an art and there is a presentation to everything. And I think we sometimes collectively as a society, we tend to forget the amount of energy that even a chef or a cook puts into making that presentation everything it can be. And you're right, it is an art form.
Well, we have another guest that's joining us right now, John.
Wow, you surprised me.
Yeah, and we may have a couple of more that pop in here too.
Awesome.
Hi, Dee.
Hey, Marie.
Yeah.
How you doing? Hi, John. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
And there's
got another girl here.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and let me tell you, John, we want to take this time to also thank you for being a sponsor for Kaleidoscope of the Arts, an intoxicating evening of discovery into the
You
art.
are very welcome.
Well, and I want to express to the audience, and this is John's show, but to the audience, John was kind enough to get us 3 sponsors so we could send out postcards to Willem Park because we didn't know how to reach them. They're a closed community. I even reached out to Jill Luke, who's with the city commissioners, and I said, we don't know how to get in there. We were a little bit late for getting a hold of them for their newsletter per se, but and then as soon as we sent out those postcards, John, we got a phone call.
We did.
Awesome.
We did. They did the trick. That they noticed it, and I said, "How did you notice?" And they said, "The postcard that came in the mail." I said,
Fantastic.
"Well, you got to thank those sponsors, because without those sponsors, we wouldn't have been able to send it out." So, thank you, John, so much, and to Justin Bucks and Angela Vance with Gulfside Mortgage, and Justin Bucks with Hardin Insurance Group, which is Allstate. So, thank you guys so much for being the sponsor of our.
You're very welcome. Very welcome.
And we're going to talk a little bit about this event. John, you know that I have my own show, so I'm so used to taking over.
I love the fact that I get to sit back and enjoy my show and not really say anything, because here's the thing, that doesn't happen very often in radio show or even TV land. But we're kind of blessed to have both. We have. You might want to start off by telling people where they can watch the video back, and then go ahead and dive right in and let's talk about this wonderful event you guys have.
Okay, well, you can dive right in onto WKDW 97.5 FM Facebook page, on Listen Live on KDW Radio, which is John Rawlings' Facebook page for this show. On my own personal Facebook page, which is Marie Stonich LaBrosse, you can go to YouTube to WKDW 97.5 FM. You can also go to my own personal YouTube page, which is Marie LaBrosse. And then you can also go to my Twitter account, Marie C. LaBrosse. And you can watch this back and share it with your friends. Whenever you see John on, John gets a lot of viewing on his videos, and there are people that actually pay attention to the show. He talks a lot about the things that are happening in the city of Northport. But John, I know that all of us have listeners. I know this, your show in particular, I don't know your stats, but I know our Kaleidoscope gets over 17,000. And my other show gets over 19,000 listeners.
We're at 16.
You're at 16. Well, hey, it's 3:00 in the afternoon. They're not working, evidently.
Yeah. Or they are, and they're doubling their output because they're concentrating on the show and working really hard.
Right.
Yeah.
And or it's all around the world. We are international. So in case they are in Russia listening to us, or even or the Far East, they could be listening. They're in Australia. Anyhow, we're going to talk about this event because I don't want you to run out of time, because Dee Dee, I had a glitch, and it was on my end, which we didn't realize till 11 minutes in. It was anyhow. The event is January 15th, and I'm going to bring up the little screen here. It's called Kaleidoscope of the Arts, an intoxicating evening of discovery into the arts of Northport, January 15th. Where are we having it? The Plantation Golf and Country Club, which is 500 Rockley Boulevard, South Venice. Why are we having it there? Northport doesn't have an event venue that's large enough to hold something that we're planning on having. Expect COVID's killing us right now. $85 per person, and includes a really good dinner and entertainment. And who is the entertainment? And if you look here, that's actually supposed to be a kaleidoscope, and I threw a few pictures up there. The MC of the evening, if you see the picture, you guys probably can't see it on your end, but that with a headphone on and a little mic there, that's RJ Malloy. He's our station manager for the radio station, but he's also a singer, songwriter, and poet. And he is the MC for the entertainment version of the evening. So he will be rocking us along. Right here is Rockbox, and that is Angel Bartolotta that I'm showing a picture, but he does have a singer instrumentalist playing. Tammy Renee, she is a Christian country music singer that was named Female Singer Songwriter Songwriter of the Year for 2021. The Symphony, the Northport Symphony. You can dress in costume, and that's an old picture of me in costume there, but I wanted to let you guys know. The picture there is of art that we're actually having a live art auction that evening, and some silent auction pieces that you can, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, buy. That's the word. That evening, there'll be a live auction. And then we have other people from Common Grounds that are performing. And then right up in the right-hand corner here is Imam Bisha, the singer. She is the America's Got Talent, and she also won Arab's Got Talent. And she's the young opera singer. And let me tell you, she is amazing. I just recently saw her perform at the Military Heritage Museum to standing ovation after standing ovation. And accompanying her is Isaac James, who is an award-winning pianist that actually is the, what is he, Dee Dee? He is the director at the Military Heritage Museum for their theater. And then the Northport Chorale, the Northport Concert Band, the Kupferbergs from the Chamber. Who am I missing? I am missing. Oh, the Northport High School Thespians will be greeting you as you're coming in. So we have a lot of talent that is going to be there that evening. And John, you're going to be there.
I am.
And I'm going to tell people, if you want to come and meet some people, that'll be the evening to come, because the city commissioners, I think most of them will be there. And then other people within there. And Dee Dee, who else is going to be there as honored guests?
Our Northport Chambers leadership for 2022.
Right.
The whole class will be there.
Yeah, and the city manager,
as Michelle is one of those.
Michelle, leadership. Matt Dill. There are many. Lance Broke from Venice Print Center, that's a past president of the chamber. That's a good class that they have this year.
It is. It's a nice big. I think they have 20 people.
Yeah, they do. Nice you have 20 people.
Nice size class.
Well, I want to talk about how you can also buy tickets, and I'm going to make an announcement here in a few minutes because of COVID numbers. And Dee Dee, where is the COVID testing for Northport?
It's here at Dallas White Park, and it has been packed. Literally, cars are everywhere today.
Yeah, and the Northport Arts Center is right at the corner that you turn into Dallas White Park, so it is right in their face.
Yes,
right?
It is.
Yeah, so we're seeing first.
So let's do this real quick. Let's throw a plug in for, if you haven't been vaccinated, go get vaccinated. It's not to stop COVID. It's to prevent you from being in the hospital and possibly dying. No more, no less. I've been vaccinated. I've taken both shots, and I'm still running around like a crazy man. So my energy is not zapped. I've not had COVID. My wife has, and my sister-in-law, and both at the same time, and the house that I live in. And yes, I was the caregiver, and I still didn't get it. So trust me, COVID is not selective. It is going to get us all at some point in time. It is not going away. If you get your vaccination, you can see the arts another day. If you don't, you may see the arts for your last time. So I'm just warning people graciously, if you don't look at the vaccination the correct way and go in this with the mindset of, I'm going to protect myself from getting deathly ill or dead, don't worry about getting COVID after you get the vaccination, because it helps lessen all of the damage that COVID can cause if you're not vaccinated. And we've all lost too many friends and family members due to the fact that COVID was happening death-wise before the big push to get the product out. And let's take politics out of it. That's all.
Amen to you, John Rawlings, because I just got my booster shot December 23rd, actually, a few days before Christmas, and I was okay. My arm was a little sore, but that's, you know, who cares? I mean, I got more issues in my life than a sore arm. Um, but I'm glad that you mentioned that, because especially if you're immune compromised, and Dee Dee and I had just done a show. I have a non-life threatening breast cancer that was just diagnosed. And, if anybody should be really careful out there, it's me, or even other people in my family. And I'm taking it seriously. I had stopped wearing a mask all the time, and now I'm wearing a mask all the time when I'm out, when I go, because I don't know what other people are doing. And I can't afford to bring that home to my family. So, or to myself. I can't afford to get ill because I need to have surgery. Anyhow, let's, enough about Debbie Downer here.
Well, that's not Debbie Downer. That's Debbie Factual.
Well,
Yeah,
it's reality.
right now.
It's reality. I'm not going to die, guys. I don't have and I found out how many different types there are, and I'm the lucky one. I'm the one that pulled the straw that mine isn't life threatening, and they'll be able to just do the surgery. And if I have to have radiology, then that's it. But I don't have to have chemo or have a mastectomy. So that's and you know what? It's a life hiccup. You just deal with it, and
Well, you're blessed with that, and there are so many others that are not.
right.
And we started this out with the Buckeye organization, but we actually do breast cancer awareness. We do a pink out game based on the Ohio State Buckeyes breast cancer awareness. So we participate even in football. We participate in making breast cancer awareness. I think a focal point at least once a year, so people get educated. Think of it this way: if you're willing to get educated about breast cancer awareness, why don't you get educated about taking a vaccine? It's simple. Just keep it simple. And really, it's both are life threatening, and you have to learn as you're going through cancer, no matter which type of cancer. And there's life changes that happen. So there is with COVID, there is the after effect of COVID. And I think anytime that you can lessen the damage to your body, why don't you do it? Yeah. So I'll let you lead in with the rest of it.
Oh, no, I agree with you, John. And there's no excuse. We give vaccines for everything. In fact, my one girlfriend, she was traveling overseas to India and to Africa. And before they went, they had to get even malaria shots and all this different things before. And she was posting a picture from 4 years ago. But she was getting all these vaccines because that's what you do. You get these because there's carriers in those countries where we have eradicated some of those things here, and we don't have to go get those vaccines. But when you go to other countries, they haven't. And there is an opportunity for you to actually catch some of those diseases. And who wants to have a tsetse fly, bite you? And,
Well, I want to say something else, because I think it leads in with what we're doing here as incorporating social awareness into the arts. I think the one thing that everybody needs to start 22 out with, maybe not so much personal bashing. Do not. If somebody's not vaccinated, the easiest way to make them build a wall around themselves is to shame them. Anytime you shame somebody, they're going to get defensive. Just educate and move on. The more we educate people about what we do every day, the more we educate people about the arts, the more we educate people about the function that's going to, the really great function that you guys are going to throw for the arts to improve people's lives. As long as we're educating them on the positive sides of things, don't you find that the arts actually pull people together the more positive the message is?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And so I think we could all learn something from the arts and incorporate that into our COVID presentation, which is go get vaccinated. But if you're not, you might want to learn a little bit, but we're not going to bash. Let's just
Right.
move on.
Right, just move on. Well, let's talk about our event before we run out of time because of Marie getting us late. How do you go buy tickets for the event? Well, you go to www.northportartscenter.org and you land on this page, and it's a pretty nice looking page, Dee Dee. I have to say so myself.
Fantastic.
And you look at there's Kaleidoscope of the Arts right there, and I have a little red arrow pointing. Learn more about that event. Well, once you click on that event, this will come up on your page, and I'm actually going to put us down under. I'll put us behind it. We can still talk, and they can hear us, but they'll see the whole event. And when you take a look at this page, you'll find out what's for dinner, and there's a lot of good food, guys. Petite filet mignon, some shrimp, and a vegetable, and a dessert, and beverage, and there's vegetarian option available, and it shows all the talent that we're having. Oh, I didn't mention the Charlotte Players and the Northport Poetry Workshop. We're going to also have a live auction and a silent auction, gift basket auction, and of course your 50/50 to earn money. Now, when you go to purchase your ticket, you're going to click on here, and anybody that does want to sponsor, you can click on here, and you can actually purchase your sponsorship online. And for anybody that wants to pay for the sponsorships they already have, I have it all set up, even for our postcard sponsors, just to pay direct right there. It makes it much simpler. And you click on purchase your ticket, and if you notice here, it'll say how many do you want? Well, okay, say Dee Dee and I want 2. I'm going to add it to the cart. I'm just taking you guys through the process so you know. And we're going to go to the cart. And this is where I want you to pay attention when you do this. There's a place on here. Let me see if it'll do it. Yeah, there's a place. Well, it'll say individual or business or organization, but you can fill out this part under your name as an individual. When you get to the ticket portion, and you can even do it here where you'll do it like this, you can put any of the people that are performing in. If you leave it blank, the money goes directly for the Northport Area Art Guild, and it'll take care of a lot of the programs that are done through them. But if you go through here and list one of those organizations, say that you wanted to go to the Performing Arts Association, you would just put their name under the business name here. And then after the event, we will be giving checks to all these organizations so they benefit in collaboration with us because they are offering performers that evening, and everybody's doing the performance pro bono with the opportunity to raise money on their end. So we just wanted to let everybody know that this is true collaboration within the arts community, and the Northport Arts Center is actually handling all the details. And if you want a vegan meal, you got to get a hold of me, but it'll pop up for you once you buy the ticket. Now, I want to make an announcement here. Because of COVID, there's an opportunity now out there for us to do one sponsor at $700 to become our virtual sponsor. And we're going to put this event also virtual. That will be selling virtual tickets for anybody that feels uncomfortable to go. Get a few of your relatives together or anybody that you feel safe with, and you can watch it virtually from your own home or wherever you care to. I'll send out the code to everybody that does it that way. I do not have it set up on the website as of yet. I'm working with the tech right now for figuring out all the logistics, but I want people to know that you have an opportunity. If you feel uncomfortable attending the event in person, please support the arts. Please. If you can do anything, and I should have it set up by Wednesday, hopefully, that you can go and purchase your virtual ticket. And what we'll do is, as soon as the performances start, when we have Jim Shirley come on and we go into, and Jim Shirley is the executive director of the Arts and Cultural Alliance of Sarasota County. He is actually the executive director of the Chamber of the Arts for the area. And he is going to just talk about how important the arts are and what the dollar amount, and I know we got to get off, John. So,
well, here's the thing. I love what you're talking about there, because people need to remember what happened at the start of COVID. Things all shut down. The arts survived a lot of COVID because of the adaptation that the people who make little money performing in front of us learned how to survive via Skype, via Zoom, via StreamYard. I've had a lot of songwriters from Nashville and Key West and other areas on my show as guests. They have all survived. They're still out playing now, but they're still doing what you're talking about, which is the virtual, to make sure they're inclusive to all. And I think it's great that you guys are doing that.
Yeah. We were trying to, until COVID hit again so hard, I personally didn't anticipate it being this bad again. I really didn't. I did not think it would get to this point. But we're less than 2 weeks out, and the reality is we have to adapt. And we're pleading actually with the public. Please, if you don't want to come, and I get it, I get that really lots. Please consider attending virtually. And I have to work out the details of how much we're going to be charging for that, because I have to cover our costs. And John, when did you post that?
I did. I'm pretty good. So people can listen, if you're out there listening and you're on, anytime that you watch any of the shows that Maria and I do, anytime that you're in the listening audience or on Facebook or YouTube, please feel free to ask a question. If the engagement with the community is what we do this for. So anytime, even a show suggestion, it's fantastic when you get show suggestions, topic suggestions, things that really make things move forward within the communities that we're all part of. And the arts is a vital part of everything about a community. And if you really want to experience, take away everything in your life that it's arts related. So that means you're going to virtually turn off your radio, your TV, your computer. Take down the pictures off your walls.
No books.
No books. No magazines.
Yes.
There is an art to mailing. So
take down your curtains. Get the paint off the wall.
That's right. So we all kind of have to step back sometimes and realize that we're kind of surrounded with things that we take for granted. And maybe 22 is the wake up call that we all need, that says, let's start appreciating the little things in life.
Absolutely. As much as we appreciate you, John, because you're not even a sponsor for our shows and you take care of the Buckeyes, but you take care of a lot of things within the community. And we have to actually recognize some of the people out there that, yeah, you have a platform, I have a platform, but for people to know that you do more than just have that pretty face up on the screen.
Well, or the bug catcher. I'm not sure which.
Yeah.
And I'm going to throw a kudo out there because of what the Northport Buckeyes do. everybody wants to bash the Buckeyes. We're like one of the most hated teams out there. But here's some beauty for you guys that are out there. The Northport Buckeyes and the RWA Buckeyes, we meet at Twisted Fork. We raised $1,850 for Kids for Christmas this year by watching football games together and buying raffle gift prizes and raffling them off. The Kiwanis, the Northport Kiwanis, showed up at the game on New Year's Day and presented us with a plaque.
Oh.
I've been doing this 16 years. It was the first plaque I've ever gotten. We all do at the radio station, we all do our show to give back. The Arts Center, they do things to give to the community. It's all about embracing and in really wrapping our hands around our community. And it's a very selfless act. That's just maybe another lesson we all must learn is maybe sometimes you just have to perform a selfless act to move your life forward.
Right, kindness. We can stay on the on Facebook and on the social media, but we have to end it for the radio because our time is up there. Go ahead and end it, John, for the radio.
All right, Dee Dee, I want to have you back on my show.
Thank you, John. I love it.
And we're going to have time to talk to you next time. I promise.
Okay? Oh, it's wonderful. I'd love to talk about the Art Center. Thank you.
Absolutely. This is John Rawlings with WKDW Live on 97.5 FM. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And